welcome to the Puritan Consultant. I'm your host, Orpa Wendy. Today, I will be interviewing John Proctor, a resident of Salem Village in Massachusetts. Mr. Proctor has been accused of witchcraft, a crime he swears he did not commit. And now, our guest, Mr. John Proctor. Mr. Proctor, you've been accused of witchcraft. What are your thoughts on this outrageous accusation?
Well, I just can't believe it. I am a good Christian man. I cannot believe that anyone would ever accuse me of witchcraft.
But it's not just you, is it? Your wife Elizabeth, she's been accused as well.
Yes, I'm afraid so, but I can assure you that she also is innocent.
So, what led the court of Salem to believe that you and your wife are guilty of witchcraft?
Well, there's a girl, Abigail. She's thought fondly of me for a long time, and she just can't take a hint. She hates my wife, and she's trying to get her killed so she can have me all to herself.
I see. And what happens to those who confess?
Anyone found guilty of witchcraft will be spared if they confess.
And if they don't?
They will be hanged.
That doesn't sound good. I assume you'll be confessing them, won't you?
No.
No? Why not? If you confess, then you'll be spared, but if not, then you'll be killed. Seems like an easy choice to me.
What is the point of living if my reputation is ruined? I would rather die with my honor than live the rest of my life as a liar.
That certainly sounds honorable, Mr. Proctor. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, a special guest will be joining us, one who knows Mr. Proctor personally.
Wait, who? I didn't agree to.
We'll be right back.
Life comes at you fast.
Jerk!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Puritan Consultant. I'm your host, Orpa Wendy. With me today is John Proctor, a resident of Salem Village in Massachusetts. John has been accused of witchcraft, which he says is a completely false accusation.
That's right.
Well, not that I don't believe you, Mr. Proctor, but today we have a special guest on the show. Someone who knows you personally and claims that you are, in fact, involved in witchcraft. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Reverend Paris.
No. What is he doing here? I will not talk to this corrupt minister.
Corrupt? You dare call me corrupt? Mr. Proctor, I am ordained by God.
Liar! It is no God you are ordained by, but the devil himself. You wretched pathetic soul, why we're not worth more.
Whoa now! Mr. Proctor, I understand your frustration, but this problem between you two cannot be solved by violence and harsh words. You two need to work your problems out through peaceful conversation.
I have nothing to say to this worthless piece of trash.
Devil worshiper.
Okay. So I'll just take a moment to relax and gather our thoughts. Now, Mr. Paris, would you please tell our viewers what led you to believe that Mr. Proctor is guilty of witchcraft?
Gladly, if you don't mind, I have my book of records here. Well, first off, he has not been attending church regularly. In fact, he's only been to church 26 times in the past 17 months. Also, his younger son hasn't even been baptized yet. But the most notable reason is why John Proctor is guilty of witchcraft. He sent his evil spirit on Mary Warren.
Lies! I did no such thing!
He sent out his spirit? I'm not sure I understand.
He sent his evil spirit to threaten Mary and to try to force her to do the work of the devil.
This man is a liar and a corrupt minister. I don't believe a word he says.
You are a servant of Satan. That's it.
We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the Puritan Consultant. I'm Orpa Wendy, and joining me today is Mr. John Proctor and Reverend Paris, both residents of the Salem Village. Reverend Paris believes that Mr. Proctor is guilty of witchcraft, but John denies this. He claims he would never do anything like that. Mr. Hale, thank you so much for joining us today. It's my understanding that you've studied witchcraft extensively?
Yes, I have. I've spent my entire life studying witchcraft.
And are you familiar with the events that have been occurring in Salem, Massachusetts?
Yeah. I've been in Salem for a while now, and I reached a conclusion about the presence of witchcraft in Salem.
Really? That's wonderful. What have you concluded?
After studying extensively the people of Salem and looking for any signs of witchcraft, I concluded that there is no presence of the devil in Salem.
So you mean you don't believe there's any witchcraft in Salem?
That's preposterous.
It is the truth. The people of Salem are good Christian men and women. Do you want to know what the real problem is in Salem?
Yes, of course.
Well, it's...
Vengeance. Vengeance is walking Salem.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, vengeance. There is no presence of Satan in Salem. The only thing to blame is vengeance.
But what evidence do you have that vengeance is to blame?
Why, just ask Mr. Proctor. He is a victim of vengeance himself. Go on, tell him, Mr. Proctor. Tell him how you became accused of witchcraft.
Well, I don't know if I should.
For the love of God, man, why are you so worried about your reputation? Tomorrow you will hang if you do not convince the court you are innocent.
Fine. I will tell them. A long time ago, there was a young girl named Abigail who thought fondly of me, and in my foolishness, I returned the same feeling. It was lechery. I sinned against God and against my wife. But I swear to you I learned. I learned from a mistake, and I swore that never again would I give myself to that filthy woman.
Well, I see, but how does this involve vengeance?
Because, you see, when I would not allow her to seduce me further, she grew envious of my wife, and so she sought to destroy her. She accused my wife of witchcraft, and in order to save my wife's life, I confessed the sin of adultery. So the court would know why Abigail made the claims that she did. But when the court questioned Elizabeth, she could not spoil my good name. And so she told the court that I was innocent of adultery. And by doing this, she made void the only alibi that we had, and now our fate is surely sealed.
That sounds terrible. But there must be some way to prove that you're innocent.
There is none. He's guilty and he will hang. I will see that personally.
Reverend Paris, how can you continue to hate this man? You have to be able to tell that he's innocent. It's obvious.
He has always been a thorn in my side. He has never respected me or my authority as the reverend.
And why should he? Seems to me like you're really a corrupt minister. You have no right to be here.
I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving.
Finally, I was tired of hearing him run his mouth.
Yeah, it was really starting to get on my nerves.
Obviously, he's not the person we need to talk to. Mr. Hale, what can we do to prove Mr. Proctor is innocent?
I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. The only way to save Mr. Proctor's life is he convinces to being involved in witchcraft. The court will not admit that they know he is innocent. They have already had a dozen of innocent people hung. If they were to spare Mr. Proctor's life, the reputation as judges would be ruined.
Mr. Proctor, shouldn't you just confess? It's the only way to save your life.
I will not confess something that I did not do. I would rather die a just man than live the rest of my life as a liar.
That certainly is noble of you. Well, I know we all want to hear so much more from Mr. Proctor, but unfortunately that's all the time we have for today. I'm Orpa Wendy, and this has been the Puritan Consultant. Mr. Hale, Mr. Proctor, thank you for joining me, and I pray that you will find a way to see that justice is delivered properly. And I will see all of you next time on the Puritan Consultant.
All to herself.
Sorry, I spaced.
Go.
Mr. Hale, thank you so much for joining us today. It's my understanding that you've studied witchcraft extensively. What are you two doing?
Oh, what was that? What was
You
that?
know what? We're taking a break.
You're sitting here
and
like this. Act like I'm in Mr. U's class. Act like I'm in Mr. U's class. Act like I'm in Mr. U's class.
We're all
Okay.
lesbians.
It's on.
Brett,
It's on.
keep a normal face, please. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, and welcome back to the Puritan Consultant.
Brett.
What am I doing?
Mr. Hale, thank you so much for joining us today. It's my understanding that you've studied witchcraft.
I haven't studied witchcraft.
No, no.
God, man, please.
Just go.
Mr. Hale, thank you so much for joining us today. It's my understanding that you've studied witchcraft extensively.
I'm not looking over that way.
Dude. You You have to look.
Now, Mr. Paris, would you please? What is your problem?
Try again.
Hi.
It's 49 degrees outside.
I don't care. Come on. Are we? Did you just capture the I don't care. Walking home.
Yeah.
Walking home.
Yeah.
Walking home.
Yeah.
Dude, your seat's right there. Reverend Hale, where are you going?
I'm getting my
What can I say, Swan?
Cut.
Hello. Oh my god. Again?
Yes, because James didn't get his line.
I'm gonna murder you. When we get home, you're gonna be dead. Hello, and welcome back to the Puritan Consultant. I'm Orpa Wendy, and joining me today is Mr. John Proctor and Reverend Paris.
And Abigail.
You're not a witch, you're a...
Finger got in the screen. My finger got in the screen. I'm sorry. How do you